As a kid, he was, the only kid who rocked up with a bottle of wine to the parties in high school. And his first true passions really were film, history, and travel. And so I think wine really put those two things together for him. He worked at the Sutton Place Hotel. That was his first real job. He trucked down there and got himself a job. Started as a busboy and was maitre d' within a few days, I think. And then he was working at West and a few other restaurants in the Vancouver area. And then really he took a leap of faith. He thought, hey, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. And he couldn't have been more than, 21, 22. And he packed his bags and he moved to London. Once he had a sommelier diploma or certificate, he just went. He said, yeah, no job, nowhere to live, no place to stay. He just got in a plane and said, I'm going to go to London and figure this out and get some real experience. For him, Europe was just such the place to be. And yeah, he made it work. It's the most amazing thing.
The first time I met Terry, it was back in 2008 at a Vancouver Wine Festival. Briefly on the floor, I was about to move to London and we just quickly exchanged email. And the next time I saw him, it was in London. He was actually giving me an interview for a job at Chez Booze as a sommelier. The one key thing about Terry, it's never about the wine knowledge, it's always about service. It doesn't matter how much knowledge you have, but if you couldn't do any of the services professionally on the floor, it's irrelevant. And also the little detail about wine service, that kind of like imprinted in me. No matter what I do now, it's just part of my DNA now.
First encounter with Terry was at Chez Bruce. I was in London working briefly in there, and Terry had just left Chez Bruce but had come back to help out during service. For me, Terry is very kind of important in the wine scene or the restaurant scene, in that he took a lot of great experiences he's had around the world, and he really focused on Vancouver and the BC wine industry to kind of really up our game here, and I think slowly bring it towards more of a world-class standard. How I look at wine, how I taste wine, how I approach service, it's quite different from when I didn't work with him and when I used to work with him.
So he was a superstar at the wine festival, during festival week, around the year. And he spent many years, of course, in London, and so we were so appreciative that he was able to fly to Vancouver each year and be the rock star behind the scenes at the festival.
When I hear his passing, definitely devastated and shocking, and because I'm not only losing a mentor and also losing a dear friend.
So how did the scholarship come about? Much like the scholarship itself, it was sort of a community effort. Meyer Family Vineyards actually created a wine in tribute, part of their tribute series to Terry, a delicious Chardonnay actually, which he would have loved. And as part of that process, there was a scholarship, which was meant to go to sort of, scholarship of the family's choosing. I immediately thought of the BC Hospitality Foundation. They do such great work in British Columbia and Vancouver. And Terry was a big supporter of them as well. And once we got that ball rolling and speaking with them, we realized that there were numerous parties, including the Wine Festival and CAPS, who all wanted to sort of scholarship in Terry's name. And it sort of happened very organically. We all got together on a Zoom call and decided to sort of start the scholarship. Doing what Terry loved, which is, giving back to the sommelier community. It's a continuation of what Terry had started to build. His belief in young talent, sort of finding diamonds in the rough, making wine accessible to everyone. He really, really strongly believed in that. And it's a way that sort of that can carry on, right? It's just a door opening. And that's all some people need, is just a door to open, get their foot through. He was a guy who wasn't afraid to ask for help, as everyone who worked with him would know and tell you. And that was one of his greatest things, right? Is he wasn't afraid to ask for help and wasn't afraid to ask for guidance. It's about building that community, taking people on, mentoring others, just making everyone better. And the fact that that's going to go on for years and years and years in his name, it means everything.
The scholarship under his name is great because Terry was always kind of he was always sharing his passion. He was always he wanted you to kind of get better, and he was very supportive. If you were taking courses, he was very supportive of that. And so I think having something like the scholarship is kind of an extension of what he had been doing.
Myself, when I started, was not even a good sommelier. I was coming from a bartending background, and a lot of the people who had a long relationship or worked with Terry along the way, he always willing to give us a chance. Doesn't matter how well you are or how established you are, he's always willing to give us a chance to be better.
I think it's neat that we're awarding this scholarship here at the awards lunch at the Wine Festival. I know that one of Terry's proudest moments in his life and his career was when he won Sommelier of the Year at the festival. It was something he referenced a lot. He was very, very proud when he got it, and it just meant everything to him to be recognized by his peers and colleagues in Vancouver. So it's just perfect that we're here doing this now. The other thing I just wanted to say to everyone who worked with Terry and helped Terry along the way, and everyone who made this scholarship possible, everyone who sort of went out of their way to assist him. Terry knows he leaned on all of you a lot, and I want to say on his behalf, thank you. And he appreciated it. He really did.